Cathy. Hello.
Hi.
Girl, I just have to say, I am so excited for you to share your story. You are a different woman than you were 4 months ago.
Definitely. Yes.
Tell me where you were when you started. Like when you decided that you wanted to change your health and do something about it, let's go back there. I know it might not be too fun to revisit the past. And as you know, I always teach about let's not revisit the past, but I really want people to understand where you have, how far you've gotten in such a short period of time. So, back 4 months ago, give me the story of how you were feeling, what symptoms you had, kind of where you were. Where were you at? What place were you in?
Well, I was having anxiety, panic attacks, just so much pain in my body. And I just wasn't resting. I just felt tired all the time. I had no energy. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. I'd have to really make myself do what I did do. And so it was like, um, I just felt defeated.
Yeah, I mean, you had a lot of physical pain, right?
Yeah, because I have scoliosis and I have degenerative disc and I had like hip problems and everything. So a lot of problems with my back, which caused a lot of neck problems and hip problems, and which would cause me headaches and just everything. I didn't have to do anything to be in pain. I was just in pain, and so I was doing everything I could find, like going to chiropractor, getting massages, even tried pain medication, which I didn't like. So I stopped that. I had like cortisone injections. Because I have arthritis, and so it was like, I was just trying to find that fix, the quick fix, anything just to get the
Yeah.
pain to go away.
Yeah, and also, just from, when you have that kind of stuff going on, you have actual physical subluxations in your spine and things like that. That is painful, but also the inflammation in your body just compounds it, right? It makes things worse. So you had inflammation, you were pre-diabetic, your
Yeah.
A1C showed that you're pre-diabetic. So tell me some of the symptoms you were having with inflammation. But fatigue is one of them. What else was
Yeah.
going on? Did you have digestion issues? What was happening?
Mostly like joint pain and like I got to where I couldn't even open the jar with my hands. I
Yeah.
had to buy special things to do that, and just I was just bloating in my, you could see it in my face at times. It was really bad, and felt I felt sick all the time. I felt just physically sick, and it's just like and I had like irritable bowel, and so it was like even then, I couldn't just eat and go somewhere and eat. I always
Hmm.
had to plan everything out, and um so it made life real stressful,
Yeah.
for me. So it made me not want to go anywhere or do anything because
Yeah.
of
Did you try to go to your doctor for help with that?
oh yeah, I went to orthopedic doctors. I went to a rheumatologist. I've gone to, like I said, chiropractors, regular doctors, anything I could find. I went. Um, you know, I even went to like a holistic type wellness center, which I thought would help me, and they were pushing like because my hormone levels were crazy. My cortisol level was not even on the chart. It was so high. My progesterone was low. My DHEA was low. So I thought that they were going to do like holistic type things, but they were giving me prescription hormones,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and, and I felt worse. And when they did the retesting, in the next year, my numbers were worse. So
Wow. I'm sorry you had to go through all that. However, we all have a story, right? When there's pain in our life, it seems like when we can work through that pain and God brings us to a place where we can find something that works, then we can learn from all the things that we that were causing pain in our life, right? I'm a true believer that the pain we go through, there's a purpose and a reason. So let's fast forward to just today. Okay. So you've changed your diet, you've done my program, you went to camp. Tell me, I know we're not done. Are we ever done? But tell me how you are doing today. Tell me the differences of how you were 4 months ago to how you are feeling today. Go.
Well, I have very little pain now. It's like I'm doing stuff. I went to the beach for a week. I went to the museum and walked stairs. I out walking. I mean, I was walking like 2 miles on the beach. I was out in the water because before I would not get in the water with my granddaughter because the waves and stuff. Did not feel stable enough and pain free enough to do that. So I'm doing that. I'm I'm cleaning my house. I just was outside Sunday and cleaned up my whole shed. I'm lifting stuff and doing things where I couldn't before. Even my husband, being 79 years old, he would have to bend over and pick up things when I dropped them because I could not do it. And now I'm doing that and I'm sweeping, mopping, doing things I wasn't doing before.
You know,
So
it, I listen to you and I'm almost like, wow. I mean, I shouldn't be shocked because, you've done so much, you've done the work, and I hear this all the time, but knowing all that pain you went through, and just in such a short period of time, how you were able to reduce your inflammation enough where now you can be cleaning your shed, going to the beach, walking, spending time with your grandchildren. In just 4 months, your quality of life is totally different. That's amazing.
oh yeah. I mean, I'm lifting containers and stuff like that where I couldn't do that for. I mean, my husband had to do all that, and he wasn't able to do it. But his back's better was better than mine, and the fact now that I'm doing, I mean, he sees it. I mean, he could tell the big difference. I mean, he's amazed.
Well, it's incredible. I know people are going to be like, "What'd you do? How'd you do it?" Well, listen, you went through the camp. You came to the camp. We have a camp coming up. You came to camp. You learned a lot at camp. What would you say was one of the things that you took away from camp that was a game changer for you?
Well, let me just say this: I had got joined your Facebook page a couple of years ago, and I lost the weight. I did. I followed it that, but I started putting it back on, and that's when I decided to join the academy. And because before I didn't know these things that I really needed to know to stay on the right path. So I really learned a lot about labels. I mean, I was just shocked because I was using stevia, but it was from the Food Line brand, and it has something you're not supposed to have. And I'm like, you don't realize that. So I was just amazed about labeling, and I was eating cage-free eggs, thinking I was doing the right thing, and then really not. And so there's a lot of the stuff that the labels just like, and I quit with milk. And so after I saw the video, and that was just shocking. And
Oh,
so I've learned a lot.
yeah. I mean, what's so crazy is that food companies and marketers and the food industry, they're not advocates for health. They're advocates to sell products. And so, one of the things that I teach and what you learned in the program is, like you said, is just doing a deep dive on labels and understanding that. You hear me teach a lot about like the why, like why is our body doing this? Why is our body doing that? So you, for example, you had so much inflammation, even though you had lost some weight, you still had so much inflammation, and you didn't know why, because again, you hadn't learned that. But once you learn what's causing inflammation, now you get rid of the inflammation, and now your pain starts to go away and you lose the weight. And I just want to show this graphic because you haven't even seen this yet. So this is amazing what you've done, Cathy, and I am so excited to also be able to show that you were a pre-diabetic 4 months ago. and now
Yes.
you are no longer pre-diabetic. Your A1C is at 5.4, which is the non-diabetic range.
Yeah,
How
I just
proud
got
of
that
you
this
of that?
morning. I just got that this morning. I was like so excited. I mean, um, because this means a lot because it just runs in my family. Like I said, my mom was an insulin diabetic. My grandfather died in an insulin coma, diabetic coma, and every one of my siblings are diabetics. And like I was determined I was not. And when I saw that number and it was pre-diabetic, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm
You're
not.
like,
I'm not
no
gonna
way.
do it.
And then, look at
No.
you're down almost 19.5 pounds, 41 inches, down 4 sizes off 3 of your medications.
Yeah. And it's really more like, three and one of the medication I only take a half at night, which because you got to wean off of it.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to be, and when I get off of that, I'm medication free. So that's my goal.
Cathy, amazing. And I don't know if you remember this, but when you first at camp, actually, I make you guys write down your top 3 goals. And your top 3 goals were to rid fatigue, have less pain, and lose weight. So how are those goals coming along for you?
Great. My, I mean, the pain, like I said, and the patches have helped, too, and everything. That's like been a big thing for me. And I've got some more test results that's coming. I got to send to you, and I saw that my inflammation, the that it had come down. It was like almost 10, and
I know.
I'm like,
This is
I
this
know,
is
I'm
such
just
a fun part of the process is going through the program and then getting your labs redone, because most people, they don't want to go to a doctor because and I get it. You're scared of the doctor, and when you can understand that your body's actually getting what it needs and your body's changing and you're losing the weight and you're losing inflammation and you're reducing your blood sugars and you're lowering your A1C, you're not afraid to go to the doctor as much anymore, because you're now going, because we use the labs as data, right? We use it as information, and it's just fun to see all the changes in you, girl. If I would show, I should maybe consider doing this someday, but if I would show some video of you at camp asking me questions and talking and the tears that were coming up. I showed a video of you 4 months ago and do a side by side of you today. Whole different woman.
yes, and I feel like a different person, and I'm happier. I smile more. I cry less.
Was
So,
was the hard work? I mean, was it hard work?
you know what, the mental part, the mind thing was the hardest for me. The getting off of certain foods and and fasting and doing that, that didn't seem too much of a challenge for me. I did well, but when it got to the mindset things and having to deal with the emotions, that was kind of the thing that I had a lot of, that kind of, there was a few times I almost felt like quitting, like, and I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. I can do this, because I mean, we talked privately some and everything, how emotional I was about things and
Mhm.
dealing with things, and I kind of felt overwhelmed about with everything.
Yeah, we're never
But
taught. We're never taught about how to take a look at our brains. Our brains is what our thoughts are, what causes 100% of the time our feelings, 100% of the time. And just understanding and doing the mindset part of the work is honestly what is challenging for a lot of the women, because that's not something they've never been taught before. But
yeah,
was it
it was worth it. I mean, you can go out here, go all of these diet programs, you can lose weight and everything, but you don't keep it off, which I've done all of that. I've done all the Weight Watch for all the programs and all the stuff, but it always came back.
yeah.
And with this here, it's more, but I wasn't getting anything here. So it's like with your program and everything, it just was teaching me how to deal with how I reacted to things.
Yeah.
Because I react. I'm one of those reacting people. And I had to learn to step back and say, wait a minute, let me figure this out different.
So it was worth it doing the work.
Oh, 100%,
You're a different
100%
woman.
different. Yeah, I wouldn't change anything about it. I it was the right decision, and I'm so glad I did it. And
So
I'm thankful for April to introducing me to you because
yeah,
it's
and here's the deal, like Cathy, your story is gonna be an inspiration to somebody watching because you're going to be in the eyes and ears of somebody watching this, and they're gonna be like, that is me. So I want you to speak to that woman. We have a camp coming up here, an opportunity to learn more about the program and to really get I mean, you know how much information we give at camp, right? So
right.
what would you to that woman who is in your situation, what would you say to her? How would you encourage her and why should she come to camp?
Well, I guess I would say, you can look at me and plus the other ladies in the group and know that this is real. This is not something we got paid to do or we paid to do it. So if I'm telling you something has worked for me, because I'm really a skeptic and everything, if I say it's working, it's working. And because I'm not going to say something is good when it's not. I speak my mind, maybe too much sometimes, but if I say this is what you need to do, if you really want to change your life, if you want to feel better about yourself mentally and physically, you need to do this program and be committed to it.
Hmm.
That's what it takes.
I'm going to show this graphic one more time because it's amazing. Down 19 and a half pounds, 41 inches, 4 sizes, off almost all of your medications. A1C is down to 5.4. You're no longer a diabetic. You've
Yeah,
achieved your first initial 3 goals. I know we're working on more, but amazing. And I want to
yeah.
just end with this. You had a quote that says, "I was fighting just to stay alive. Now I feel I am living and doing things." Can you talk a little bit about that? What that means?
Well, I did. I felt like I was dying. I would lay in bed and beg because I didn't want to leave my granddaughter and my daughter, because I knew she needed me. And I would lay there and I would beg God, please don't let me die. I really felt like I was dying. And I was just grasping. I was reading the Bible and I was listening to Christian music. And I was just like, please, just what is the answer and everything. And then, April told me about the academy coming up, and I got on there and did the meeting. And I talked to my husband. I said, I don't know how we gonna afford to do it, but I said I need to do this because I said if I don't, I'm not gonna be here much longer. And I really felt that. I really did. And I mean, um, and he was all for it and everything. And I mean, I really feel like it saved my life. I really do. I mean, because I really felt like I didn't have much time left. I don't, it was just all the pain I was in, and just and the mental thing too, and just everything, just and having the panic attacks and the anxiety and everything on top of that. And I just knew I needed an answer, and I feel like God gave me that answer,
So
and through
so
you.
proud of you.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time, but I want to say it again to everybody. It's like people say, it's too hard to get healthy. Okay, well, maybe it is, but it's hard also living a life of pain and living a life of suffering and feeling terrible and not having a good quality of life. That's harder, in my opinion, versus the hard that you did, daily taking the steps to get better. Yeah, that's hard, but it's harder I mean, if you could trade places, would you ever want to go back to where you were 4 months ago? Of course not.
Yeah.
So this is the encouragement I want to give to everybody who are out there thinking, oh, it's too hard. Well, I have to disagree with you. I have to disagree with anybody that thinks that, because I think it's harder when your quality of life sucks and you're in pain and you're on medications and you have symptoms, I think that's way harder.
Oh yes. I would never choose to go back to that. No matter what I had to do to stay on this path and everything. And to me, like I said, to me, I guess because it was in so much pain, and when I see the difference, I don't see it as this has been a hard road for me. Other than some of the mindset things dealing with that, but the rest of it, I feel like compared to what I was living, I feel like this is easy, and I think you just have to set your mind to that too.
Thank you for sharing. You're amazing. I'm so glad that you took the leap of faith and decided to do this work and to join us. And you look beautiful. I told, before we started recording, everybody, I told Cathy, I said, she looks like a little pinup girl today. Because you're so cute. Your hair is all curled. You look like a pinup girl. It's so cute. So we're going to end showing this graphic one more time. But congratulations, girl. Thanks for sharing. And I know you're going to be a huge inspiration to any of the ladies that can relate to you and that are watching today. So thanks so much, Cathy. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.